1 month since Russia invaded Ukraine, drastically changing the country and the people in it. Many have left the war-torn areas, fleeing as refugees to surrounding countries to find peace and safety for their families and children. One Evansville native, Dr. John Pefferly, a retired dentist, flew into Poland and is right now in Ukraine helping refugees there. He joins us now from a refugee center. Dr. Pefferly, thank you so much for joining us. Describe to us what it's like where you are. What's the situation there?
Well, I would say 90% of the time where we are in the country, you wouldn't really know there was a war going on unless you would get out and travel much. And every little road has their own militia with sandbags and those geometric diamond things they put to stop tanks and vehicles. But there's a heightened sense of awareness. We get air raid. Oh, I'm so tired. Air raid sirens about once a day, and that was a new experience for me.
Was it frightening?
Outside of the area, you don't really see much. But we are now in a gated camp-like community with cottages in a conference center where they have housing for transient refugees. Some are just here for the day, some for 2 or 3 days, and some got here and they don't know what they're going to even do tomorrow.
So as I understand it, Dr. Pefferly, they're moving where you are. They're moving on outside the country. Describe to me what the refugees are like physically and emotionally.
Well, there's mostly women and children. And so, I frankly can't imagine what it would be like to be a 35-year-old young woman with 3 children, with all your possessions you have in a suitcase, with the kids crying and things. But where we're located, the ministry has an activity center, and there's activities planned. There's actually even a soccer league that takes place. So we have moments of laughter. Today we heard some little girls just laughing, and I looked over at the mom, and she was crying because she said that's the first time she's heard her daughter laugh since the bombing started. We see them talking to one another. They all have a backstory. They all really want some sense of normal in an otherwise anything but normal situation for them.
Well,
and you can see
that's something I do want to say here, because UNICEF just released some numbers today saying that more than half of Ukraine's children, that's more than 4 million, have now been displaced since the start of this war, because of this war. And pediatric dentistry is your specialty. Kids. Tell us about these children you've seen. How are they dealing with war and being a refugee?
I kind of think when they get in the dental chair, kind of everything else in the world stops, and they're going to be a really good dental patient, and they're going to make me work for my money. We had one last night that took 4 of us to hold him down. This morning he got dressed up, brought me a note, and took a picture like Napoleon at the dental chair. And another little girl the same way, and then she kissed me with bloody gauze in her mouth. So I think they compartmentalize probably better than we do, but there's sadness in the drawings that we see of the tanks and people that are bleeding. And I've even talked with several of them and recorded their messages about the war and how scary it is. And most of them are just afraid, and they're afraid of the noises. They're afraid of whatever Russians are in their mind. And they're afraid they've already lost their fathers, maybe. What will they do if they lose their mothers? So they're a mixed bag of emotions.
Dr. Pefferly, you grew up in Evansville. What do you want people here in Evansville who can't travel to Poland and Ukraine? We see what's going on in the news, but what do you want us to know here about what's happening there? What are you seeing and hearing there that we don't get here?
Oh, a lot. The Russians are brutal. They do not hesitate to shoot people down with their hands up. They don't hesitate to bomb orphanages, and the number of children that have been killed in orphanages and hospitals, from what I've been told by the boots on the ground, is much higher than what they're advertising to the U.S. It's just it's a situation that, you know, me growing up in Evansville, I couldn't imagine going through what they're going through in Evansville. Mm-hmm. You know, the moms are just like the moms in Evansville. They love their kids. The dads, they all want things that are better for their families. And yet, because some man has an issue, he's going to kill them to take their property and has no thoughts about it. So they really love knowing that they matter to the U.S. And they just, one lady, she's got about 70. She was a babushka, and she couldn't understand why I was here, why I would leave the United States to come here. And when I told her, I said, because you matter, she just teared up. I mean, she just fell apart. And so they need to know that they matter to somebody, and they love knowing that the United States is praying for them. So I would say to my cohort from Evansville, where I came from, that if you have an opportunity to even spend $5, I mean, these people have nothing. I mean, nothing. And a little baby doll, a little pony or something like that means the world to these kids right now. So I feel special that I can be here. I've got a lot of friends here since I've been working in Ukraine off and on for the last 5 or 6 years. And I got to see a bunch of the translators today that I hadn't seen in a couple of years, and we all broke into tears. It's just people loving people and taking care of one another, and that's what I'm trying to do while I'm here, as well as take care of Teeth.
Dr. Pefferle, thank you so much for your work that you're doing there with the refugees. We appreciate that work so much, and thank you for spending time with us today and letting us know what it's really like there. We appreciate you. We wish you all the best in your work there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Shelley. Bye-bye.